What if I told you that Nigerian senators might be earning more than lawmakers in America, the United Kingdom, Canada, even Germany? In a country where millions survive on less than $2 a day, where unemployment haunts an entire generation, where the minimum wage struggles against inflation, are Nigerian senators really the highest paid in the world? Or is that claim political exaggeration? For this analysis, we are not relying on outreach. We're not relying on social media threads. We're breaking down verified salaries, official data, global comparisons, and the uncomfortable truth behind one of Nigeria's most explosive political debates. Because when you compare the numbers properly, the answer becomes more complicated and more disturbing than most people expect. And by the end of this video, you may see this issue very differently. Welcome to Threads of Power, where Nigerian politics is examined, not praised, and not protested. Watch closely. Let's start with the numbers. What do Nigerian senators officially earn? Let's separate fact from rumor. According to official figures from the Revenue Mobilization Allocation and Fiscal Commission, the body responsible for determining public office holder pay, a Nigerian senator's basic annual salary is roughly 2 million naira per year. That's approximately $2,500 to $3,000. Wait, what? That sounds surprisingly low. But here's where the story changes. Because basic salary is only a fraction of total compensation. Nigerian senators also receive a range of allowances, including hardship allowance, constituency allowance, furniture allowance, vehicle allowance, ESTA code for foreign trips, duty tour allowances, severance packages at the end of tenure. And these allowances are often significantly larger than the base salary itself. When investigators and budget analysts include these additional benefits, estimates suggest total annual compensation can range from 21 million naira to 30 million naira officially declared. But here's where controversy enters. Some reports, particularly from civil society organizations, allege that when you factor in indirect benefits and running costs, total compensation could exceed 100 million naira annually. Now pause. Is that figure confirmed? Not officially. Is it widely debated? Absolutely. And here's the first cliffhanger. If the official salary is modest, why does public perception believe Nigerian senators are among the richest lawmakers on earth? The answer lies in transparency, and transparency is where things get complicated. The transparency problem. Unlike some Western countries where legislative budgets are itemized and easily accessible, Nigeria's National Assembly budget has historically faced scrutiny for limited breakdowns. Critics argue allowances are not always clearly itemized, constituency project allocations lack full public auditing, overhead and operational costs are bundled into large aggregates. Now, to be fair, this does not automatically mean wrongdoing, but opacity fuels suspicion, and suspicion fuels viral claims. Which brings us to the real question. Even if Nigerian senators are not the highest paid in raw dollars, how do they compare globally? Because when we zoom out, the perspective shifts dramatically. Global salary comparison. Let's start with hard data. United States Senator, annual salary $174,000, GDP per capita roughly $80,000, ratio about 2.2 times average citizen income. United Kingdom MP, annual salary about £86,000, roughly $110,000. GDP per capita around $46,000. Ratio approximately 2.3 times. Canada, salary roughly $140,000. GDP per capita around $52,000. Ratio about 2.7 times. Germany, salary around $120,000. GDP per capita about $50,000. Ratio 2.4 times. Notice a pattern? In advanced economies, lawmakers typically earn between 2 to 3 times what the average citizen earns. Now, let's bring Nigeria into this picture. Nigeria in context. Let's use a moderate, widely cited estimate of 30 million naira annually for a senator's total official compensation. That's roughly $35,000, depending on exchange rate fluctuations. Now, Nigeria's GDP per capita hovers around $2,000. Do the math. $35,000 divided by $2,000 equals roughly 17 times the average citizen's income. 17 times. Some analysts argue the real ratio could be even higher, possibly exceeding 20 times. And suddenly the narrative shifts. Because in absolute terms, no, Nigerian senators do not earn more than US senators. But relative to national income, they may rank among the highest, possibly at the very top in proportional earnings. And that distinction is everything. Because outrage is rarely about raw numbers. It's about contrast. And in Nigeria, that contrast is enormous. But wait, there's another layer to this story that most people overlook. Why this issue is politically explosive. Nigeria faces significant poverty levels, youth unemployment crises, infrastructure deficits, rising public debt, a strained minimum wage system. When lawmakers earn 15 to 20 times the average income in a struggling economy, the optics are powerful. But optics alone do not prove injustice. So what fuels the anger? Two things: perceived lack of transparency, historical allegations of budget padding and inflated running costs. Over the years, Nigeria's National Assembly has faced accusations related to budget padding disputes, high operational expenditures, opaque overhead structures. Again, allegations are not convictions, but public memory is long, and when economic hardship increases, scrutiny intensifies. Now here's the cliffhanger. Is the problem the salary itself, or is it the system around it? Because when you compare legislative pay globally, you discover something unexpected. Should lawmakers be paid highly? In many democracies, the argument for high legislative pay is simple. Pay lawmakers well to reduce corruption incentives. The theory suggests that competitive compensation attracts competent professionals and discourages illicit enrichment. But here's the dilemma. That model works best in economies with high GDP per capita, strong institutional accountability, and transparent auditing systems. When those safeguards are weaker, high pay alone does not eliminate corruption risk. So the debate isn't just about how much Nigerian senators earn. It's about accountability, transparency, oversight, public trust. And trust is currently fragile. Final verdict. So let's answer the question clearly. Are Nigerian senators the highest paid in the world? In absolute dollar terms, no. American, Australian, Canadian, and German lawmakers earn significantly more. But relative to average citizen income, Nigeria ranks among the highest, possibly the highest, in salary to GDP per capita ratio, which makes the claim misleading if stated without context, but powerful when framed proportionally. And here's the real takeaway. The outrage is not purely about the senator's earnings. It's about the economic distance between leadership and citizens. That distance defines the emotional response, and until that gap narrows, the controversy will remain. Now I want to hear from you. Should lawmakers' salaries reflect global standards regardless of national poverty levels, or should they be tied directly to the economic reality of the citizens they represent? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and in the next video, we're going deeper. We're comparing Nigeria's National Assembly budget to entire African countries. The numbers in that comparison are even more shocking. If you thought this was controversial, you haven't seen anything. Subscribe because the next breakdown might change how you see political spending forever.